There are moments in your life, are there not, that feel as though they were scripted by a wise and playful playwright. Moments so perfectly timed, so deeply meaningful, that they shatter the illusion of a random, chaotic world. It is the experience of wrestling with a profound question in the silence of your own mind, only to open a book at random and find the precise answer staring back at you from the page. It is the sudden, inexplicable urge to call an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, only for them to answer and say, "I was just thinking about you." It is the song that has been a ghost in your memory for days, suddenly playing on the radio the moment you turn the key in your car. We call these moments synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, and we often file them away as curious anomalies, beautiful glitches in an otherwise orderly reality. But what if they are not the glitches? What if they are the most profound feature of reality itself, whispers of a fundamental law of connection that we are only just beginning to understand? To explore this, we must first turn to the mind of the man who, more than anyone, defined our modern understanding of an orderly, predictable reality: Albert Einstein. His universe was a magnificent cosmic clockwork, a place of stunning elegance governed by profound, consistent, and knowable laws. He gave us the grand architecture of space-time, the beautiful dance of gravity, the immutable speed of light. His was a universe that, while vast and awesome, was ultimately sensible. It was local. An event here could only affect something over there by sending a signal, a ripple in space-time, a particle, a photon, that had to travel across the intervening distance. God, in his famous estimation, did not play dice with the universe. Everything had a cause, and every cause had a local effect. This was the foundation of his physics, the bedrock of his rational faith. Yet from the heart of the very revolution he helped to birth, the strange new world of quantum mechanics, a ghost arose to haunt his beautiful clockwork cosmos. It was a phenomenon so bizarre, so contrary to every classical intuition, that it deeply troubled him for the rest of his life. He called it, with a famous and palpable skepticism, spookhaft Fernwirken, spooky action at a distance. This was the mystery of quantum entanglement. It described a state where two particles born from the same event could become inextricably linked like psychic twins. They could be separated by inches or by light years, yet they would remain in some fundamental way a single unified system. The truly spooky part was that if you were to measure a property of one particle, its distant twin would instantly, with no time delay whatsoever, adopt a corresponding state. There was no signal sent, no message traveling faster than light between them. It was as if one soul were inhabiting two bodies simultaneously, a violation of the local, sensible universe Einstein so deeply believed in. It was a ghost he could not exorcise from the physics. And here, at the heart of Einstein's profound unease, is where our own exploration begins. What if the one thing Einstein got wrong was not the science? For entanglement has been proven time and again to be real, but the scope of its implication. What if this spooky action is not a strange, isolated anomaly confined to the bizarre world of subatomic particles, but is in fact the very mechanism that governs the most profound and meaningful connections in your own life? This journey is built upon a single startling premise that the synchronicities you experience are the human-scale expression of quantum entanglement. It is the proposal that your inner world of thought and feeling can become entangled with the outer world of events and people, and that the strange, instantaneous, a causal connection that so mystified Einstein is the very way the universe communicates with you, mirrors you, and conspires with you. The meaningful coincidence is not a glitch in the system. It is the system revealing its deepest, most hidden, and most spooky secret, that at the fundamental level of reality there is no separation at all. Imagine a time before time, a silent, unmanifested void, both empty and filled with infinite potential. In the heart of this great mystery there existed a single magnificent star, a point of such dense, brilliant, and unified consciousness that it contained the dream of all possible universes within its core. It held its breath for an eternity, a perfect, singular being. Then, in a single, silent, and breathtaking act of creation, the great star exhaled, not with a violent explosion, but with a graceful, luminous pulse that sent forth into the void countless pairs of smaller, younger stars, particles of its own divine light. Each pair was born from the exact same point, at the exact same instant, sharing the exact same pristine essence. They were, in the most fundamental way imaginable, two expressions of a single soul. And so began their great journey. Cast out by the creative breath of their origin, these sibling stars traveled across the cosmos in perfectly opposite directions. One might journey towards a nascent galaxy swirling with the violet hues of new creation, while its twin would speed towards an ancient quarter of the universe, where old suns burned with a deep crimson light. They were separated by gulfs of time and space so immense that they defy all human comprehension. Aeons of travel across dark nebulae, past sleeping planets, through silent, empty voids. To any observer in a local mechanical universe, these 2 points of light would be utterly separate, their fates untethered, their connections severed forever by the impassable chasm of distance. Yet this is where the ordinary laws of separation dissolve into a deeper, more magical truth. The sibling stars, though a universe apart, were never truly separate. They remained bound by a silent promise made at the moment of their birth, an invisible, unbreakable thread of resonant light that connected them instantly and eternally. They shared a single heartbeat across the cosmos. Their connection required no message to be sent, no signal to travel across the void, for they were not two independent things communicating. They were, and always would be, two perfect reflections of a single unified system. They were one story, being told in two different parts of the vast cosmic library. And so, should a cosmic traveler, a curious observer, happen upon one of these stars and interact with it, a miracle would occur. If the observer's presence caused the first star to suddenly shimmer with a brilliant sapphire blue light, its distant twin, light years away in a completely different galaxy, would in that very same instant shimmer with a corresponding, perfectly complementary ruby red. If the first star, influenced by a passing gravitational field, began to spin clockwise, its sibling would instantly begin to spin counterclockwise, maintaining the perfect sacred balance of their shared origin. There was no delay. The information was instantaneous. It was spooky action, the universe demonstrating that for those born of the same essence, distance is merely an illusion, and separation is a trick of perception. This allegory, beloved, is the story of you and your manifested reality, your deep, heartfelt desire. The pure intention held within the sacred workshop of your imagination is the first sibling star. The outer event, the circumstance, the person, or the object that corresponds to that desire is its distant, entangled twin, currently existing as a mere potential in the vast field of the cosmos. When you, through the powerful act of feeling and belief, stabilize your inner state, when you truly become the person who is living in your desired reality, you are in effect observing your half of the entangled pair. You are causing your inner star to shine with a new, definite, unwavering light. And in that very instant, by the same immutable cosmic law that governs the sibling stars, its entangled twin, the outer event, must respond. Across the seeming void that separates your inner world from your outer, the spooky action occurs. The potential reality instantly begins to coalesce, to shift, to rearrange the fabric of the world around you in order to mirror back the truth of the state you have claimed within. The synchronicity, the chance encounter, the unexpected phone call, these are the moments you witness the distant star shimmering in perfect response to your own inner light. It is the universe showing you, with breathtaking elegance, that your consciousness and your reality are not separate things at all, but are, and have always been, two beautiful, perfectly entangled expressions of a single, unified whole. The allegory of the entangled stars, their silent, instantaneous communion across the vastness of space, is a beautiful and profound myth. But if this spooky action were merely confined to the subatomic realm or the cosmic dawn, it would remain a distant curiosity, a strange footnote in the annals of physics. Its true, staggering power lies in the realization that this principle of profound, non-local connection is not just an external law of the cosmos, but an internal law of consciousness. It is happening not only between distant particles, but within the very fabric of your own life, every single day. To understand this, we must turn from the telescope of the physicist to the microscope of the psychologist, specifically, the great cartographer of the soul, Carl Gustav Jung. Jung, through his deep and courageous exploration of the human psyche, encountered a phenomenon just as baffling and profound as entanglement. He observed moments where the inner world of his patients, their dreams, their visions, their potent emotional states, would align perfectly and meaningfully with the outer world of objective events, in a way that defied all laws of causality. A patient dreams of a golden scarab beetle, an ancient symbol of rebirth, and at the very moment she is recounting the dream, a real scarab-like beetle taps at the window of his consulting room. The dream did not cause the beetle to appear, nor did the beetle cause the dream. The two events, seemingly separate, were united by a single powerful thread of meaning for the individual. Jung named this phenomenon synchronicity, defining it as a causal connecting principle. He saw it as proof that the psyche is not an isolated island, but is somehow interwoven with the material world, capable of participating in a dialogue with reality that transcends simple cause and effect. It was this radical idea that attracted the attention of one of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics himself, the Nobel laureate physicist Wolfgang Pauli. Pauli lived daily with the paradoxes of the quantum world. He knew that at its foundation reality was profoundly strange, acausal and participatory. In Jung's meticulous observations of the psyche, Pauli recognized the very same ghostly principles he grappled with in his laboratory. He saw in the meaningful coincidences of synchronicity the same non-local, acausal quality as the connection between two entangled particles. Their historic collaboration, the dialogue between the master of the psyche and the master of the particle, represents one of the bravest intellectual journeys of our time, a first attempt to build a bridge across the chasm that had opened between mind and matter, between spirit and science. Here, then, is the core theme, the synthesis of their shared insight. Let us propose that the human psyche, your inner world of potent thought, deep feeling and archetypal energy, can become entangled with a potential event in the external world. When you hold a specific thought or feeling with immense psychic energy, what Jung might call an emotionally charged complex or an archetypal activation, it does not simply remain a private internal experience. It creates a powerful, specific and coherent resonance state in your own consciousness. This stabilized inner state acts precisely like one of the sibling stars from our allegory. It has established its definitive spin, its unique color, its unwavering frequency. And by the fundamental law of entanglement, its distant corresponding twin, the potential event in the quantum field of reality is instantly and causally affected. It is compelled to mirror the state you have stabilized within. This is the mechanism of synchronicity. The thought of your friend does not send a signal through the air to make them call. Rather, the loving, focused thought of your friend creates a state of entanglement between your consciousness and theirs within the unified field. The phone call is the spooky action, the collapse of potential into actuality. The moment the outer world shifts to provide a flawless reflection of your stabilized inner condition. The synchronicity is not the magic itself, it is the evidence of the magic. It is the proof of the underlying entanglement. Thus, when Jung spoke of an causal connecting principle, and when Einstein spoke of a spooky action at a distance, they were both pointing, from different directions, to the same fundamental truth. They were describing a universe where consciousness and the material world are not two separate domains, but are two facets of a single, unified and deeply mysterious reality. Jung and Pauli stood at the frontier of this new world, proposing that the laws of the psyche and the laws of physics were not just parallel, but were perhaps one and the same. The universe is not a clockwork machine haunted by a few spooky ghosts. It is a single, vast, entangled mind, and your own consciousness is an active and inseparable part of it. To understand that your inner world is fundamentally entangled with the outer world is to be handed a key to a new reality. It is to realize that life is not a series of random events happening to you, but a responsive, intelligent dialogue happening with you. The synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences, are the language of this dialogue. But to participate in any conversation, you must first learn how to listen, how to speak, and how to recognize when you are being answered. You cannot force the universe to speak, but you can, with grace and intention, learn to tune the delicate instrument of your own consciousness to better receive its signals. This is not a work of effort, but an art of receptivity, an art of living in a synchronistic universe. The first step in this art is cultivating clarity of intention. Imagine the universe as an infinite radio, broadcasting every possible reality on every possible frequency. If your own receiver is tuned to vague static, a jumble of unfocused thoughts, contradictory desires, and passing anxieties, then the feedback you receive from the world will be equally chaotic and unclear. To invite meaningful synchronicity, you must first choose which station you wish to listen to. This is the power of a clear question or a definite desire. To hold a single focused question in your heart, "What is my next step?" or "Show me a sign that I am on the right path," is to send out a clear, coherent signal into the field. You are telling the universe precisely which frequency you are listening for. This clarity acts as a powerful organizing principle, allowing the infinite intelligence of the cosmos to provide a resonant answer, a synchronicity that speaks directly to your inquiry. Once the intention is set, it must be charged with the second crucial element, emotional resonance. A thought alone is but a whisper in the cosmic wind. A thought charged with the immense power of genuine feeling becomes a resonant bell that shakes the entire web of reality. It is the feeling of love, the feeling of certainty, the feeling of deep curiosity or passionate desire that creates the powerful entanglement we have spoken of. This is why synchronicities often cluster around major life events: falling in love, experiencing profound grief, embarking on a new passionate venture. Because these are the moments when your emotional energy is at its most powerful and coherent. The practice then is to learn to generate this resonance consciously. When you hold your intention, allow yourself to feel the emotions of its fulfillment. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the peace of its accomplishment, as if it were already your present reality. This emotional broadcast is what makes your signal strong enough to be unmistakably answered. The third step is perhaps the most paradoxical, and the most essential: the sacred act of surrender and detachment. After you have clarified your intention and charged it with feeling, you must let it go. You must release your desperate grip on the how, the when, and the in what form the answer will arrive. This is the ultimate act of faith in an entangled universe. Imagine you have planted a seed in a fertile garden. You have given it your intention and watered it with your feeling. Now you must trust the wisdom of the garden to bring it to fruition in its own perfect time and its own perfect way. To constantly dig up the seed to check for progress is to destroy the very conditions required for its growth. Detachment from the outcome is what creates the open, receptive space for the spooky action to orchestrate its magic, to build the surprising and often ingenious bridge of incidents that will lead you to your desire. Finally, with your signal sent and your heart open, you must practice the art of noticing. Synchronicity is happening all the time, but in our distracted, hurried state, we often fail to see the subtle signs, the gentle winks from the universe. Cultivating synchronicity requires you to move through your days with a kind of soft gaze, an open awareness that is attuned to the meaningful patterns that emerge around you. It is noticing the book title that seems to leap out at you, the recurring animal symbol, the overheard conversation that speaks directly to your heart's question. Keeping a synchronicity journal can be a powerful tool for this, a place to log these strange and beautiful moments. As you record them, you will begin to see the undeniable pattern of dialogue between your inner state and your outer world. The very act of noticing and giving thanks for these signs signals to the universe that you are listening. And as in any good conversation, when you show you are listening, the speaker is encouraged to share even more. Through these practices, you transform from a passive observer of life's accidents to a graceful, conscious participant in a beautiful, ongoing, and deeply meaningful dialogue with the cosmos. We began our exploration with the ghost that haunted Einstein, the spooky action at a distance that seemed to violate the very fabric of his sensible, orderly universe. We traveled through a cosmic allegory of sibling stars, forever linked by a silent, instantaneous promise. We witnessed the historic meeting of minds between Carl Jung and Wolfgang Pauli, who first dared to suggest that the laws of the psyche and the laws of the particle might be one and the same. And we have brought this immense cosmic principle down to earth, into the intimate art of tuning the receiver of your own consciousness through intention, feeling, and a sacred, watchful awareness. Now we stand at the threshold of a new way of being, ready to embrace the ultimate implication of this journey. The one thing Einstein, in his genius, may have gotten wrong was not his physics, but his philosophy. His profound discomfort with entanglement stemmed from his deep faith in a local reality, a universe of separate things that must send signals through space to affect one another. He could not bring himself to fully embrace the truth that his own field of science was revealing, that the universe, at its most fundamental level, is not a collection of separate parts, but a single, indivisible, holistic entity. The spooky action was not a flaw in the theory to be explained away. It was the theory screaming its most profound and mystical truth. It was the universe revealing that separation is an illusion and that interconnectedness is the fundamental law. Synchronicity, then, is your personal lived experience of this universal law. It is the moment the grand cosmic principle of entanglement reveals itself on the intimate stage of your life. The meaningful coincidence is the universe's way of tapping you on the shoulder and whispering, "See, we are connected. What you hold in your heart is felt, instantly, by the whole." The story you tell inside is the story the world begins to enact around you. To live in awareness of this is to step beyond the shallow explanation of coincidence and into a rich, magical, and deeply meaningful dialogue with reality. It is to understand that there are no stray threads in the tapestry of your existence. Every event, every encounter is part of a resonant, interconnected pattern. This is the final transformational call. It is an invitation to consciously embrace your entangled reality. It is a call to shed the old identity of being a small, isolated self, adrift in a random cosmos, and to assume your true identity as an inseparable, resonant part of a single, conscious, universal field. It asks you to trust the invisible threads, to have faith in the spooky action of your own heart's deepest feelings. It is an invitation to live with profound courage and authenticity, knowing that your inner state is your most potent contribution to the world. A broadcast that shapes not only your own experience, but subtly influences the entire web of being. When you live from this place, your life re-enchants itself. Loneliness dissolves in the felt sense of universal connection. Despair is met with the knowledge that you can always change your energetic signal and entangle with a new potential. Life ceases to be a series of problems to be solved, and becomes a series of mysteries to be lived. A creative dance with a responsive, intelligent partner. Einstein famously declared that God does not play dice. Perhaps he was right. Perhaps the universe is not a game of chance at all, but a perfect, non-local mirror, flawlessly reflecting the face of the consciousness that observes it. That consciousness is you. The spooky action that baffled the scientist is the sacred language of your soul. Listen for it. Trust it. For it is the constant, loving affirmation that you are not just living in the universe, you are the universe experiencing itself for a precious time, as you.